Hey, Cowboys Nation. This is Cowboys Wire News, your home for breaking news, smart analysis, rumors, and film room insights. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a snap. Let's talk America's team. There is an undeniable tension brewing behind the scenes at one of the most storied franchises in professional American football. And all eyes are turning toward the quarterback, DAK Prescott. Sources close to the team hint that Prescott arrived at practice this week with a noticeable hematoma on his face, sparking a storm of speculation among fans, commentators, and insiders alike. The image of a player of his caliber showing up visibly marked has triggered a cascade of questions. Was this the result of an intense on-field clash, a personal altercation, or something more insidious that has not yet surfaced in the public eye? Analysts who have followed Prescott's career closely emphasize that his history is one of resilience and leadership under pressure, making this sudden display of vulnerability particularly striking. Social media platforms erupted instantly, with fans dissecting every detail of his appearance, from the swelling around his eyes to the barely concealed bruise on his cheek, drawing wild theories about locker room conflicts, disputes with coaching staff, or tensions with teammates over leadership roles and strategic decisions. As the conversation deepened, it became clear that the incident might not be isolated, but rather a symptom of a larger internal struggle that has been quietly simmering beneath the surface of what appears to be a disciplined and cohesive team. The situation intensified further when anonymous insiders suggested that Prescott did not hold back in confronting certain teammates, using fiery language that left some in the locker room visibly stunned. The term cowardice has begun circulating in whispers, allegedly used by Prescott to describe actions or decisions taken by others, fueling rumors of a serious fracture in the team's dynamic. Speculation is rampant that the quarterback's frustration may stem from perceived lack of commitment, missed opportunities on the field, or disagreements over play calls. Though no official statements have been made to clarify the nature of these conflicts, analysts emphasize that while locker room disagreements are common in professional sports, the combination of a physical mark on the face and publicly hinted verbal confrontations is rare, especially for a player of Prescott's experience and reputation. Fans have reacted in polarized ways, with some expressing sympathy for a leader clearly taking responsibility, and others questioning his approach and temperament. The uncertainty surrounding the incident has only deepened as reporters noted that Prescott's interactions with coaching staff appeared unusually tense, sparking speculation that the quarterback might be pressuring management to address deeper strategic or personnel issues, adding fuel to the fire. Some insiders suggest that the timing of Prescott's visible injury coincides with a period of intense scrutiny from both media and fans, amplifying the perceived gravity of the situation. The quarterback's reputation as a resilient, unflinching player clashes with the image of someone visibly impacted by internal turmoil, creating a narrative ripe for speculation. Social media experts have dissected every frame of images shared publicly, analyzing the size, shape, and positioning of the hematoma to theorize whether it occurred during a practice session, a personal confrontation, or even off-field circumstances that might remain private. Theories abound about whether Prescott is signaling a message intentionally, using his visible bruise as a metaphor for the challenges he perceives within the team. Commentators note that this dramatic development could have a ripple effect on morale, team cohesion, and even public perception of the Cowboys' internal discipline, while official channels remain tight-lipped. The sports community cannot help but wonder how a leader like Prescott navigates moments when frustration, injury, and accountability collide so visibly. It is in these high-stakes scenarios that a quarterback's true influence on team culture becomes a subject of intense debate, and Prescott now finds himself at the center of such a debate. Reports from sources within the organization hint at a possible clash between Prescott and other key figures on the team, though identities remain undisclosed. Rumors suggest that discussions intended to be private escalated into arguments, leaving both Prescott and teammates emotionally charged and perhaps even questioning their roles within the team structure. Observers have noted that Prescott's typical composure seemed to give way to a rare display of raw emotion, something that might resonate differently with each teammate, depending on their own experiences and expectations. Some believe that this could mark the beginning of a power shift or a recalibration of leadership dynamics within the Cowboys, with Prescott asserting his authority more visibly than ever before. Others speculate that the quarterback's emotional display may also reflect personal pressures beyond football, intertwining personal life, public scrutiny, and professional responsibility into a complex web of tension. The combination of physical evidence in the form of his hematoma and reports of verbal confrontations has created fertile ground for speculation, with each rumor further amplifying the perception of instability and conflict within the locker room, even if the underlying facts remain unconfirmed, further complicating the narrative. Experts note that Prescott's actions may serve multiple purposes simultaneously, conveying frustration, signaling urgency, and attempting to rally the team to recognize the stakes of their current situation. Analysts have pointed out that quarterbacks often act as emotional barometers for their teams, and Prescott's visible injury paired with passionate responses could be interpreted as both a warning and a call to action. Fans are divided, some praising his courage to confront issues head-on, while others question whether publicized displays of anger and physical marks contribute to team cohesion or create deeper fissures. Social media has become a theater for endless debate, with threads exploring every angle from psychological stress to potential disciplinary measures. Industry insiders have mentioned that management may need to intervene, possibly arranging private discussions or mediations to prevent minor conflicts from escalating further, all while maintaining a public facade of unity. The overarching narrative suggests that Prescott's recent visibility in these matters may become a defining moment in how leadership is exercised and perceived within one of football's most high-profile teams. Finally, speculation extends beyond the locker room, as commentators consider how these events might influence the Cowboys' public image and fan engagement. Media analysts highlight that while controversy often draws attention, it also risks overshadowing athletic performance and strategic planning, forcing team leadership to balance transparency with image management. Prescott's visible hematoma has become a symbol, in some eyes, of struggle, determination, and confrontation. But its origins remain shrouded in mystery, fueling endless discussion about its implications. Sports psychology experts weigh in, suggesting that the quarterback's emotional display might be both a coping mechanism and a strategic move to assert dominance, influence peers, or even pressure management to take decisive action. Speculation abounds that future decisions regarding starting lineups, coaching strategy, or internal discipline could be affected by the tensions Prescott has brought to light, with some predicting that this could signal a period of transformation for the franchise. As the story develops, it remains unclear whether the incident will lead to resolution, deeper conflict, or a turning point in Prescott's leadership and legacy, leaving fans, analysts, and insiders alike riveted by the unfolding drama that seems to go far beyond the field. Even as insiders attempt to contextualize the situation, theories continue to proliferate, often contradicting each other and intensifying the narrative around Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Some sources hint at a long-standing tension that has been quietly escalating over weeks or even months, suggesting that the visible hematoma is less an isolated incident than a symbol of ongoing frustrations and disagreements. Analysts point to the fact that Prescott's leadership style is both demanding and exacting, creating natural friction with teammates who may interpret his directness as confrontational rather than constructive. Meanwhile, media coverage has seized on the spectacle, framing Prescott's injury and outburst as a microcosm of broader issues that could define the team's season or even Prescott's legacy. Social media conversations often speculate on the potential for public statements, apologies, or even roster changes as consequences. Yet the organization maintains a carefully curated silence, allowing rumors to swirl unchecked. This vacuum of official communication has transformed every observed glance, every tense interaction, and every public comment into potential evidence, fueling the frenzy around what is already being called an unprecedented internal drama within the franchise. As fans and pundits alike attempt to interpret the signals, the story becomes less about a single bruise and more about the symbolic weight of leadership under pressure in high-stakes professional sports. Among the more persistent rumors are suggestions that Prescott's confrontations with teammates were sparked by disagreements over accountability, effort, and strategic priorities. Some insiders claim that the quarterback may have singled out individuals he perceives as underperforming or failing to meet the team's rigorous standards, using both words and presence to challenge their commitment. While such reports remain unverified, they fit a broader narrative of Prescott as a leader unafraid to hold others accountable, even at the risk of public scrutiny. Commentators note that these internal conflicts, if true, could have lasting effects on team cohesion, morale, and performance, particularly when coupled with the public's intense gaze. Fans are split between admiration for Prescott's willingness to address issues head-on and concern that visible confrontations could undermine the sense of unity necessary for a successful team. Psychological analysis of such situations emphasize that the dual pressures of high expectations and public attention can magnify emotional responses, making even minor disagreements appear much larger and more consequential than they might actually be. The speculation around Prescott's role, methods, and motivations has become a central talking point, illustrating how a single incident can spark a broader debate about leadership, culture, and accountability within elite sports organizations. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. In addition to locker room dynamics, observers have speculated about the potential influence of coaching and management decisions on the incident. Some suggest that Prescott's frustration may reflect deeper concerns with strategic direction, play calling, or personnel choices, pointing to a possible misalignment between leadership visions and player execution. Rumors circulate that certain coaches may be caught between supporting the quarterback and maintaining broader team cohesion, complicating the internal politics and increasing the visibility of every interaction. Analysts argue that in high-profile teams like the Cowboys, even private disagreements can quickly become public speculation, with each party's actions scrutinized for hidden meaning or signals of discord. Fans have latched onto subtle gestures, quotes from interviews, and leaked statements to construct narratives that often exaggerate conflict, further feeding the rumor mill. Meanwhile, insiders hint that Prescott's assertiveness may be a strategic choice, demonstrating strength and commitment in the face of perceived organizational indecision. The interplay of leadership, accountability, and public perception has become a defining feature of the current discourse, illustrating how one quarterback's personal actions can reverberate across an entire organization and captivate a national audience eager for drama and insight into the inner workings of professional football. The impact of Prescott's visible injury and alleged confrontations extends beyond the team, influencing how the media, commentators, and fans interpret every subsequent performance. Analysts suggest that heightened scrutiny may place additional pressure on players to demonstrate loyalty, discipline, and resilience, while simultaneously magnifying the consequences of mistakes or miscommunication. Fans, meanwhile, engage in exhaustive speculation, drawing on patterns of behavior, historical context, and fragmentary reports to construct a story that often exceeds reality in its intensity. Some commentators have raised the possibility that the incident could catalyze a transformation in team culture, prompting renewed focus on accountability, training rigor, and interpersonal dynamics. Others fear that unresolved tensions may fester, creating fractures that could affect performance, morale, and cohesion over the long term. Amidst this uncertainty, Prescott's actions, whether perceived as courageous, confrontational, or calculated, serve as a lens through which broader questions about leadership, responsibility, and resilience in professional sports are explored. Every gesture, comment, and visible mark on the quarterback's face becomes fodder for narrative building, with speculation filling the gaps left by silence from the organization. Speculative narratives have even begun to consider the long-term implications for Prescott's career and legacy with the Cowboys. Some suggest that if internal tensions persist or escalate, the quarterback may be forced to assert himself more strongly or even consider alternative strategies for leadership, team engagement, or public messaging. Analysts emphasize that quarterbacks in high-profile franchises occupy dual roles, guiding athletic performance on the field and shaping the psychological, cultural, and social environment off the field. Prescott's visible hematoma and fiery interactions are therefore interpreted not merely as isolated incidents, but as part of an ongoing negotiation of influence, authority, and respect within a competitive, high-pressure environment. Fans debate whether this moment will cement his reputation as a fearless, uncompromising leader or introduce questions about temperament, control, and the handling of internal conflict. Industry insiders speculate about potential interventions, ranging from private mediation to strategic personnel adjustments, all aimed at preserving both performance and public image. The uncertainty surrounding these developments has created a sense of suspense and intrigue that continues to dominate conversations across media platforms, social feeds, and fan communities. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.